Blaine Fowler will call the game with Dave McCann for BYUtv today between BYU and Santa Clara at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific time. The college basketball expert and analyst joins us now live. Blaine, welcome back up to the Big Easy.
Thanks. You know what? And it was anything that's 4 syllables is good for a chant. So it was Bilbo Baggins.
Yeah. Elijah
Bilbo
Wood.
Baggins.
Yeah, it wouldn't work. Yeah, exactly.
That's what it was. That's what they were doing. So
it was all 28 of them. It was great.
And I don't know why, I don't know. Nick should be proud to be Bilbo. He's a cool dude.
Absolutely, he is.
He's got some amazing kind of powers.
He was a good role player. In the
don't judge people by their size. Just because hobbits are small doesn't mean they're not fierce. I mean, I think we saw that.
We learned that from Gandalf.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
Really did. Yeah. Four people just changed the channel.
No, hey, the guy Chase Fisher, that guy knows movies like nobody I've ever seen.
Oh, he's amazing pop culture.
I'll pull lines out from movies that are 25 years old, and he'll just nail it. And how does he know that? He was a baby. Well, he wasn't even born, and he knows it.
He's a movie guy.
Yeah, he is a movie buff. He knows, and he's got a mind. He just doesn't forget. So if he sees something once, he's got that quote. He's good that way. I've tried to stump him a couple of times. I cannot stump that guy.
Our Twitter question today is more of a fill-in-the-blank. Will Chase Fisher and BYU win by 17+? We'll ask that question a bit straight up, yes or no. But BYU wins by 17+ today if what happens?
If Kyle Collinsworth plays like he normally plays against Santa Clara. That's the big matchup problem that they have. And it's not necessarily that he has to go out and score a bunch of points, but they don't have an answer for him. They can't keep him out of the paint. So whether it's he's getting 9 offensive rebounds and putbacks and scoring, or he's getting into the paint and they're having to collapse so much defensively to get to him that shooters are open on the outside and he distributes the ball and guys get easy shots, or he's getting in there and they're rotating but they're staying on the shooters and then he's shoveling it off to Davis or to Kafusi or to one of those. He gives them so many problems and they just don't match up with him. And that's the reason that Santa Clara, it's not, they struggle with BYU size and they just don't have anybody to match up with Kyle Collinsworth. So if he just plays his normal dragon of a game, then they'll have a hard time staying within 17.
They practiced in the Misty Mountain yesterday, so I think he'll be ready to go.
Somewhere in the Misty Mountains is where they practice. He's averaging 18, 9, and 9 against Santa Clara.
Yeah, it's just sometimes there are just matchup players that people have a struggle with, and that's the one for Santa Clara. He is the most dangerous player in the league to them because they don't have anybody big enough or long enough to keep him from going where he wants to go every time he comes down the floor.
I looked this up too this morning. BYU's backcourt outscored Santa Clara in these games, 62.5 to 61.5. I mean, the starting backcourt for BYU, when they're good, they're really good.
And on the other side of it, Kyle Collinsworth, the Dragon. It's funny they were talking about the Dragon a lot today, right? He gives Jared Brownridge fits. So Brownridge has this tremendous quickness. BYU team defends him really well, but Kyle Collinsworth's length when he's on him causes him problems. It really does. And so Kyle is a good defender as well. People don't give him a lot of credit for that, but BYU's length gives the Santa Clara guards problems, and it's just not a good matchup for them. Santa Clara matches up better with other teams in the league. Some of the good teams, Santa Clara would much rather play St. Mary's, who's the 1 seed, than BYU because of individual matchups, and that's how this game is.
Nobody really thinks about the analytics of that, but it is all about matchups in college basketball. It's just why do some teams play well against other teams and they can't show up against others? It's funny things like that. Kyle Collinsworth is a terrible matchup for Santa Clara. Now, we've been calling him the Dragon here at the
He said he was going to play like a dragon, baby.
Yes, we've been calling him the Dragon.
Yeah.
He started this.
He started it.
He started it, and by golly, we're going to finish it.
What other players would you compare to animals in terms of their spirit animal? Jerem called Nick Emery the honey badger. I said Taysom Hill was a leopard because leopards get more aggressive when they're injured, when they're hurt. So what other BYU athletes would you compare to animals?
Let's see. Jamal Williams is a jaguar.
I love it.
Yeah, he's sleek and he's quiet, confident. No, he's not quiet, confident. He's a little too. He's a cat with personality. Yeah.
That's what a jaguar is.
He's not the kind that goes off in the corner, but he's a jaguar. He's out there, but he's so sleek and so fast. And if he gets going, forget it.
If the Jaguar's engine gets revved up, it's pretty loud.
I'll tell you what BYU basketball wise, they need Bronson Kafusi to play like a mountain gorilla. Is what they need him to play like.
Corbin?
I mean Corbin, not Bronson.
Yeah.
Well, Bronson should play like that too. They both should play like that.
Yeah.
Bronson can play like that in the NFL, and then Corbin can play like that without fouling. Can you play like a gorilla without fouling?
No.
Because that would be
That's tough.
it would be hard
Well,
to
you
do.
can swing your arms
just
around
little
and block
wild-
shots.
Well, but see, gorillas have long arms and they're really, really strong, and especially if BYU, gets to the Gonzaga point in this tournament where they have to play against that big physical front line. He's got to have the strength and the long arms, and he's going to need to play like a gorilla, but a gorilla under control that doesn't foul.
Yeah. During countdown to kickoff during the football season, we always have the Y factor selections. Who's your Y factor pick? If Kyle Collinsworth is not eligible for the Y factor because he's like the quarterback, who's your Y factor pick?
Well, when I was sitting over here, I heard you guys. I think Nick Emery has to be the other guy that plays well for them to have a chance to win this tournament. And he's got to be consistently good for 3 games, which that's a hard thing to do. Young player, he has got to consistently go out there. And who was it that said he had to average his average? That doesn't work because he can't go get 35 tonight and get 10 on Monday.
Average
So
is
he
average
can't average his
per
average
game.
Oh, so he has to play to his average every game.
Be like a 16-ish guy each game.
That would do it. That would absolutely do it.
Yeah, good correction on that.
And so here's the thing. But I don't know that he should be a Y factor. They put the ball in his hand and rely on him too much. He's almost like an A factor. You have to have Chase Fisher, Nick Emery, and Kyle Collinsworth be A factors. If you really want to talk about a true, like who's the guy?
Somebody else?
Yeah, I think before the tournament's over, who's the guy that we're going to go, wow, that guy had a good tournament, and that was kind of out of the blue. I think it would be Kyle Davis. So I think he does need to play well, especially against a Gonzaga type of team. He's got to produce some points inside to take some pressure off of Fisher and Emery and Sellius and those guys to get shots out in the open. He's an experienced player. He's played in tournaments before. I think that he can be, so what's after a Y? I don't know what's after. We call it a Y factor, but
Z?
Yeah, because I think the wings. This offense is built around those guys. They better all be A factors. Nick Emery better get 16 tonight. Chase Fisher better be consistent. Kyle Collinsworth better do what he does. Those guys have to be good or they don't have a chance. But the thing that maybe gets them over the hump and makes them even better and makes you go, oh, wow, if that guy plays like that, they got a shot to win an NCAA tournament game. That would be Kyle Davis.
Blaine Fowler with us on BYU Sports Nation. It is a Saturday special from the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas. Looking at the pace of play, the last 2 games this season, BYU won by 36. They won by 34. We just rolled out the stat of the day. In the 11 wins they have over Santa Clara in West Coast Conference play, they're winning by 19.8 points per game. So the one time it wasn't that way was last year on this floor by 2. Now, what kind of pace do you expect today, and how do you see the game playing out here?
BYU only plays at 1. They can play up-tempo, get up and down the floor. And the problem for Santa Clara is they kind of want to do that too. You know what I mean? So they're not going to be real comfortable. They're going to have a hard time because of BYU's length getting in the half court and finding shots for Brown Ridge. So they're going to have a hard time slowing the game down.
San Francisco likes to play up-tempo too, and they got blown